Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 130 of Crunch Time with the N326 duo. I am your host today, Sam Godsey, and unfortunately, I am all by myself this week. Tanner's out on some family vacation, so it'll just be me. But don't worry, I have an action packed episode for y'all. We're going to be talking a little bit of everything this episode with a focus on the NBA. We got a special guest, Alonso Haislop Rodríguez. He is the founder of Insight Picks on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. He's going to be talking some hoops with me today. Knicks fan, so he fills in the absence of Tanner well. But we talk about this and so much more on episode 130. We're gonna kick off this episode a little different than normal. Since Tanner is not here, I decided not to do winners and losers because it'll just be me talking. So I'm kind of gonna go over the headlines of what's been going on in the sports world since our last episode. We kind of touched on this a couple episodes back called headlines. So this is your weekly headline report. So last Tuesday, so from Tuesday till I'm recording this part on Wednesday. We record the episode with the interview with Alonso on Tuesday. So just as a fair warning for that talk. But to kick it off, probably one of the biggest MLB prospects we've had in a long time made his MLB debut. Of course, I'm talking about Paul Skenes, or as some people know him as Livy Dunn's boyfriend, made his debut against the Cubs last week, and he did not disappoint. If you look at the stat line, he had 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 bases on balls, and 7 strikeouts. 7 strikeouts, great, awesome. 4 innings, 7 strikeouts for your MLB debut. That's beautiful. 6 hits and 3 earned runs. There's gonna be some growing pains, but we definitely saw why this dude is so highly touted as a prospect and why he's entered the majors so early on in his professional career. Not only that, but he also had 16 100-mile per hour pitches just in the first 2 innings. So he is just throwing straight gas on in his debut, and it was impressive, no doubt. But only 4 innings pitch, obviously a small sample, but you could definitely see the reason why that Paul Skenes is such a highly touted prospect. Speaking of other highly touted prospects on the mound for baseball, I want to talk about Hagen Smith. Hagen Smith, pitcher for the Arkansas Razorbacks, has put on a absolute show this season. He pitched last week, got a win under his belt. He is currently 9-0 on the season. He had 1.65 ERA. That's earned run average for those who don't know. He has 71 innings pitched, 33 hits, 14 runs allowed, 13 earned runs, 29 walks. Now, here's where it gets impressive. He has 136 strikeouts. Yes, you heard that right. 136 strikeouts and 10, yes, 10 double-digit strikeout games, which is impressive. Now, some of you might be talking, thinking, I mean, yeah, that's really, really good. But like, what a lot of people don't understand, the gap between college baseball and MLB is there's a lot more offense. To only have a 1.65 ERA is incredible. I mean, it seems, especially in the SEC, the average batter is anywhere from 200 to 350. Like, that's almost average. I know Tanner, when we watch a couple Arkansas games, he is astounded by the batting averages of some of these hitters. So looking at Hagen Smith's stat line, I expect him to be a highly sought after prospect going in to this MLB draft. He's one of the best pitchers in one of the best conferences, and he's the reason why Arkansas's bullpen and starting pitchers have been so good, because you have their ace Hagen Smith putting on an absolute clinic. Staying in the baseball realm, this could definitely qualify as one of our losers. It is Indiana Southeast versus Indiana Tech. Now, you're probably wondering, Sam, why the heck are you talking about Southeast, Indiana Southeast, Indiana Tech? And valid, very, very valid. So this is two NAIA schools. Just absolutely incredible game. Going into the ninth inning, specifically the bottom of the ninth inning, it was 11-2. Indiana Tech was up. And it seemed Indiana Tech was going to win this game in the first round of the NAIA tournament at Taylor University. It was 10-0 heading to the bottom of the seventh, so it is already 10-0. But IU Southeast began to kind of chip away during the seventh inning. There was a hit by pitch, drew a walk, RBI single, finally got them on the board. And then Indiana Tech got run back right back in top of ninth, based on fielder's choice. And then in the bottom of the eighth, Indiana Southeast started to get their bats rolling. Both their first three hitters, 3 straight singles. And then in the top of the ninth is where this gets crazy. The pitcher for Indiana Southeast, Gavin Nust, however you say his name, retired the side in orders 1, 2, 3. And it was this is where the madness begins. Bottom of the ninth, down 11-2. Here's how it goes. RBI first 2 batters were retired, so there's already 2 outs. But an error at shortstop followed by a single gave Indiana Southeast life. A RBI single followed by a 2-run double cut the deficit to 11-5. Remember, this is 11-2 with 2 outs, with 0 outs in the bottom of the ninth. And it was 11-2 with 2 outs at the bottom of the ninth. After an error at third base allowed another score, another batter hit a single to drive in. A bases loaded walk cut the lead to 11-8, and a 2-run single to right, followed by a double down the right field line, tied the game. So right now is tied 11-11 in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs. Absolutely crazy. 7 hits and 2 errors. Just absolutely crazy. And then shout out to Trevor Goodwin of Indiana Southeast. Won it walk-off style with a 3-run walk-off home run to center on a 2-2 count. His 5th homer of the year. This is just something you dream about. You dream about in your front yard, backyard, playing with your friends, doing the scenarios. And boy, for Iowa or Indiana Southeast, scoring all 12 runs with 2 outs, that's unbelievable. But if you are Indiana Tech, you gotta be shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, 11-2 with 2 outs left in the ninth inning, and you let up 12 runs. Are you kidding me? That might be the ultimate loss of the century, ultimate bad beat of the century. It doesn't get much worse than that. But I mean, this story blew up. NAIA, not a well media covered a division of sports, but this made national news. It was everywhere. So we, of course, I had to talk about it on Crunch Time with y'all. Indiana Southeast makes a 11-2 comeback in the bottom of the ninth with 2 outs, 14-11 there in the NAIA NAIA baseball tournament. So that was definitely newsworthy. But being Iowa fans, we got to talk some Iowa sports. Lisa Bluder dropped an absolute bombshell a couple days ago. Announced her retirement. Yes, Lisa Bluder, one of the great women's basketball coaches over the past 20-ish years, announced her retirement, I believe, on Tuesday afternoon, kind of coming as a shock for everyone. Just to highlight some of her accolades, she was at Iowa from 2000 to 2024 this year, of course. She was a 2-time NCAA Regional Final Four appearance, 5-time Big Ten tournament champion, 2-time Big Ten regular season champion, 4-time Missouri Valley tournament champion with her time at Drake, and a 3-time Missouri Valley regular season champion. She is also a 3-time Big Ten Coach of the Year, as well as a Naismith College Coach of the Year. Just absolutely crazy. She also has coached for Team USA. She was an assistant for the United States in the World University Games in 2001, brought home gold there, and then the Pan American Games in Toronto in 2015, she got silver. Her overall record as a head coach is 889 and 394 losses. That is a winning percentage of 69% win percentage. Just an absolutely impressive career for Lisa Bluder. She has, just in her time as a Iowa Hawkeye, the head of Iowa Hawkeye women's basketball program, she has put out some tremendous teams. Kind of the peak really started in 2018-19 when Megan Gustafson, who is now a Las Vegas Ace with fellow Kate Martin. So that was her one of her best seasons, 29-7, Big Ten tournament champion, Elite Eight. That kind of kick it off. They finished number 8th. Just an absolute legend when it comes to women's basketball. And then, of course, the past couple years with Caitlin Clark, Kate Martin, Gabby Marshall, Monica Cesano. Just absolutely crazy. She wrapped up her 40 years as a collegiate head coach. And like I said, it kind of comes as a shock to a lot of people with the amount of success she's had over the past couple years. It seems like Iowa was one of the blue bloods in women's basketball. Obviously, it helps when you have one of the best college basketball players, period, in Caitlin Clark. But she called it quits. She was, again, just a truly impressive. She is the 10th. She has the 10th most career wins in women's basketball history. She's just kind of put this program on the map, and it's gonna be weird not having her, especially after the couple years we've had with Iowa women's basketball. But that leads me into, so who's gonna fill her in, and that's Jan Jensen, who I think is a big reason why we've seen some tremendous success from the Iowa women's basketball. Don't get me wrong. Um, I think Lisa Bluder was one of the best in the country, but I think Jan Jensen was the one of the best assistants, and her role on the team the past couple of years have been working with the centers of the team. And we've had Monica Cesano, Megan Gustafson, and even Hannah Stolke this year. Probably the most impressive was Hannah Stolke because we saw her get some run while Cesano was on the bench, and she seemed more of a gap filler. She's not gonna wow you, but she'll be a solid piece on in the rotation. Well, this year, Stokey took a huge leap in skill, production. She had 42 one game, I believe, 42 or 45. I want to say it's 42 because I think Caitlin broke it like a week and a half later with 45. But I think she is a big reason. I think she does a lot behind the scenes work for Iowa women's basketball, and I'm super excited for Jane Jensen to be taking over. Obviously, a little heartbroken that Lisa Bluder will be leaving the program. She is staying on as an advisor to Jane Jensen, but I'm super excited to see what Jensen does with when she was kind of took a back seat for the past 20 years. So that is kind of the big news in the Iowa realm of things. Obviously, we had the debut of Caitlin Clark last night against the Connecticut Sun. The Indiana Fever did end up losing, and as much as we like to praise her on the podcast, we got to talk about when she isn't at her best. She did have 20 points, 5 for 15 from the field, not great. 4 for 11 from three, 3 assists, 2 steals, 4 personal fouls. But what was the craziest part was her turnovers. She had 10 last night. Everyone has said, especially the WNBA players, there's going to be an adjustment period. And I think that's true to a certain extent. There's going to be some learning curves. It's just a different level to basketball. I mean, we see it in the NBA. We see it in every college to professional level. There's going to be some learning curves. There's going to be some learning pains. And I think that is what we saw in Caitlin Clark's debut. I don't think people should put much stock into this. She had people have off nights. I know she was walking into the building with tremendous pressure. People are expecting her to drop 30, 40 like she did in college. And to be honest with you guys, that's not going to happen. I'd love to see it. I'm expecting like 15 to 20 points per game her rookie season, 8 assists and 6 boards, which is not bad. That's actually really good. But for the expectations, Caitlin Clark has brought upon herself with her performances in college. That is something she has to deal with, and it's going to be interesting to see how she bounced back because she is not happy. If any of y'all watched it, she is very frustrated with herself. Shout out to Leah Boston at half talking to her and being like, "We got you. Like, we got your back. It doesn't matter. Just keep playing the way you play." And it was a tough one to watch as an Iowa fan, of course, not seeing her just light it up like we all hoped she would. But the flashes were there for sure. She's got to get more consistent. It might have just been an off game, but there's just mental errors she was making. 10 turnovers. I'd love to know the last time she had a double digit turnovers because it wasn't a lot. But be on the lookout for her playmaking ability to flourish this year. I think her playmaking is one of her most underrated parts of her game. And so, as disappointing as it was, I know people are going to put a lot of stock in this because she is the face of the WNBA, whether you like it or not. She is. She's the reason y'all are taking charter flights and not flying commercial anymore. She is literally the reason. I think their her debut game brought more eyes to the WNBA than ever. I am pulling up this list right now. I want to say Front Office Sports tweeted it earlier. Yeah, 2.11 million people tuned into ESPN2 on Tuesday night as the Sun defeated Clark in the Fever 92-71. 2.11. That is the most viewed WNBA game in 23 years. And it beat the NFL or the NHL playoff, excuse me, on ESPN, which was at 1.99 million. So the Caitlin Clark effect is 1000% in right now. So it's going to be fun to watch. There's going to be learning curves to playing professional. I think she's going to rather adjust quickly because she doesn't like how she performed. But it's going to be fun. Keep watching. It's going to be very interesting to see how Caitlin Clark performs throughout the Fever season and where her game goes. But speaking of other disappointments for people, to me, I don't know how to put this into words, a single word, I should say, and that's Bronny James. He is currently in the NBA draft, participating in the combine. For those of you who didn't stay up super late and watch a lot of Pac-12 basketball this year, I'm just going to put it how it is. If he didn't have the last name as LeBron James Jr., he would not be even talked about as a prospect. But the fact he has LeBron James as his dad, one of the greatest players of all time, as his dad, he's going to get looked. And just he was listed throughout media as 6'4" all season. Turns out he measures at 6'1", so he probably is around 6'3", 6'4" with shoes on. But this man averaged 4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, 2.1 assists, and 36% from the field. He has not been impressive. I don't like that people are buying into this just because of his last name. I'm a realist. I don't think he's NBA talent ready. If it wasn't, like I said, if it wasn't for his name, he wouldn't be talked about. I think, and against other prospects in this draft, he had a scrimmage for the combine and he had 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 for 8 from the field, 0 for 4 for 3. This dude is not NBA ready. Will he be if he sticks around? Maybe. I do think a team is going to take a shot at him because supposedly LeBron wants to play with him. Will that happen? I don't know. But don't be surprised if this dude gets drafted. I don't expect him to be picked in the first round. I think that would be an absolute mistake. I know this is a watered down NBA draft class, but I do think He will get drafted in the second round. I think that's where he deserves. I think he'd benefit greatly from playing in the G League for a couple years, developing uh, his game because he's not NBA ready. He's not one of the top prospects as much as the media wants to make him. He's not. And the scrimmage proved that. But it's gonna be that's another storyline gonna be interesting. Is he gonna be kind of the stories of sons of former great athletes that just don't live up to the media hype that we've seen multiple times? So that's gonna be another interesting storyline. But that kind of wraps it up for the main headlines of this week for this episode. I do want to mention Jared Goff. Speaking of the NFL, he got an absolute bag for the Detroit Lions. He got a bag. Let's just put it how it is. It's a 5-year deal, 235.61 million with an average of 47.12 million a year. This year he'll get 75 million, then 18 million in 25, 55 mil in 26, 40 mil in 27, 47 in 28. Fully guaranteed at signing is 113 of that 235, but absolutely crazy. He deserved it. He put Detroit on his back the past couple of years, and it's been super fun to see. So shout out to Jared Goff. I just wanted to throw that in there because that was a big headline. Also, NFL schedules come out today on Wednesday. So by the time this episode drops, we should all know what our teams will be playing. I know there's been some leaked games, some announced. Aaron Rodgers will be opening the season on Monday Night Football. So hopefully that goes better this year than it did last year. But that kind of wraps it up for the headlines for this week's episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hopefully I kind of didn't talk too much about it, but gave y'all a good insight of what's been going around the sports world this week. Next up, we got a special interview with Alonso Haislop Rodríguez talking some NBA ball. He is the owner of Insight Picks on X, gambling advice account. Let's let the people know what his plays are on certain. So make sure to drop a follow. But enjoy this interview with Alonso Haislop Rodríguez. And we'll be back after to wrap up the episode. And we now welcome on a first-time guest, Alonso Haislop Rodríguez. Alonso, how are you doing, man? NBA playoffs in full swing. Your Knicks playing well. How are you doing tonight?
I don't know if I'd say playing well right now, but either way, I appreciate you having me. I'm pretty nervous. I mean, we got tip off here in like 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. It's gonna be a big game.
Do you want to go over this series first?
Yeah, we'll dive into it. I just want you to talk a little bit about yourself. I know you got a big Twitter following at Inside Picks. So kind of fill in the listeners about what you do over there and just give us what you want.
Yeah, so basically my buddy and I, co-founder and I, he does like all the coding and everything, and eventually we want to turn it into like an app. But for now, we just provide like insight and on like data analytics for sports betting. We have access to a lot of big books that take in a lot of sharp money. So we have a lot of inside information, and that's just what we base all of our plays on. And we've been doing really well. So it's been really cool to see how the page has been growing, and I also appreciate you guys' support on Twitter or X as well. I mean, that's helped out a lot.
Yeah, love shows love. So make sure to follow them. Their
Yeah,
Twitter
it's
or
at
X is
Insight Picks.
yeah, and
INSIGHTPICKS.
yeah, and they'll be in the description below. So just make sure to drop them a follow. They got all your picks you could possibly want from MLB, NHL, NBA, any
Yes,
sport. They
sir.
got it for you.
Yes,
So
sir.
Alonzo, you know all about the NBA, man. You want to hop right into this playoffs we've been enjoying so far.
Yeah, so Knicks, I guess we'll dive in first here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Series started off, I mean, looking great. Had New York partying like crazy. Everybody thinking that they're gonna win a chip and all this, typical delusional Knicks fans, and I'm
Yeah.
a victim as well.
Hey,
But
my co-host Tanner is too, so it's all good.
yeah, I've seen. But no, the damn obviously the damn injuries are what's holding them back here in the past two games, and it's not looking good. I actually checked the odds this morning on the series, and the Pacers shifted to favorites in the series now. It's tied up
Really?
right now, and we have two games in New York, and the Pacers are favorites. So it's kind of scary from a betting standpoint, at least when you're a Knicks fan. Uh, that line seems kind of telling.
Yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
OG Anunoby's injury, I think, was crucial. If you look at the stats, the Knicks with OG Anunoby are 20-3 when he's playing. Without him, they have a losing record. So I mean, it's a completely different team without him. And on top of that, they don't have Mitchell Robinson. They lost as well in the playoffs. Bogdanovich, who was starting to heat up from the three. Um, so it looks like everything's going against them, but I might be biased. Obviously, I'm a Knicks fan, but I think if there's one team that can beat all the odds, it's this team. I mean, they're full of dogs, so
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
that's where I stand.
Jalen Brunson is playing through injury right now. He's been banged up all series.
Yeah, he's got both his ankles banged up now. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the if anybody can play these amount of minutes, I mean, I don't think Josh Hart has sat the entire series.
yeah, yeah. I think he just did last game when they
I
were
know he
losing by like
did when they
30 or
got
40.
when they
Yeah,
got absolutely
exactly.
waxed in game four. But
But Tibbs was still trying to keep him in when
I
they were
know,
down like
I know.
30,
It's
bro.
like Tibbs, rest your boys. You only have like
Jesus.
six players left.
I know.
Um, but obviously this series has been pretty competitive for the most part. A lot of close games.
Oh yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah. It's been a great series.
so obviously, on the Pacer side of things, um, obviously after game two, we got a comment by Rick Carlisle saying small market teams deserve an equal shot. During a post game complaint, I think he later got fined for making some of these
Oh,
statements.
I didn't know he got fined.
They deserve a fair shot no matter where they are playing. So, what are your thoughts as a Knicks fan? I mean,
I see
personally,
where yeah, I see where
I
his
see it,
frustration
but it
comes
like,
from.
come on, bro.
But I think that was a very stupid way of expressing your frustration. That's how I'll
Yeah,
put it.
yeah,
Because I mean, when was the last time the Knicks were any good?
yeah, exactly.
And then you've
20.
got the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are a small market team. When he said that, they were pounding the Nuggets, and everyone thought they were going to sweep the Nuggets.
Yeah,
I know that's not the case anymore, but that's what everybody was thinking then.
yeah.
So it was just a
And the
stupid comment.
Thunder are sitting at
Yeah,
one, and they're
the Thunder
probably
are
in the smallest one of the smallest markets
smallest
in the
market
NBA.
teams, and they're giving the Mavs hell. So I
Yeah,
mean, that was just so stupid, and I
yeah.
think everyone clowned him for it. He
Yo,
deserved it. I don't know if he
absolutely.
should have been fined, but I think it's funny that he did get fined for such a dumb comment.
Yeah. And another kind of big moment of that game too was Reggie Miller's return to MSG.
Oh yeah.
Personally, as not really a dog in the fight, I even thought it was annoying. They made it like he was playing, like, oh, Reggie Miller just pulled up. Like, dude, you're sitting in a broadcast booth.
The glazing was crazy.
And shout out to Madison Square Garden. They let him hear it towards
Oh
the
yeah.
end. It was
He's hated.
electric. He
We
is
still have nightmares because of him.
yeah. But obviously this series has been an absolute dogfight. It seems Tyrese Halliburton has got it going over these past 2 games.
Yeah, he's starting
Uh,
to step it up.
he, I mean, put it how it is. He struggled first couple games. Game 3, he
He did.
lit it up, 35 points. And then Miles Turner, Pascal. It seems the Pacers are coming together. The Knicks obviously got their asses ran off the
Yep.
floor.
You really got to bring up TJ McConnell too when
Yeah,
talking about this Pacers team.
yeah,
I mean,
unsung here. And my thing is, why is he not getting more minutes?
more playing time, right?
It makes no sense, man.
He's
I
more
mean,
effective guarding Brunson than Nemhard was, than fucking I mean, I don't know if Reese was even on. I think Tyrese was on him a couple times,
yeah,
but
yeah,
TJ was giving Brunson hell offensively and defensively.
yeah. He's
And
kind of one of those
I
unsung
think that's
heroes.
partially Carlisle's. He's just not a great coach, you know.
No, he's not.
That's just coaching.
Yeah, and I know he struggled with some foul trouble throughout the series, but
Yeah,
you gotta take the fouls when you're guarding one of the best players in the league.
exactly, exactly. And if he
Speaking,
fouls out, so what? You
yeah,
know,
it's better than him sitting on the bench with 4 fouls down the
exactly,
stretch, right?
exactly.
But yeah, I'm glad you brought him up. But the guy he's guarding, Jalen Brunson, he got off to a very slow start this playoffs and just has gone crazy. He had
He did
3 or 4 straight 40-point
40
games,
point games. Yeah,
and he
ridiculous.
probably would have gotten it if he didn't get hurt in that one game, one of these games. I can't
Yeah,
remember which one,
yeah,
but
broke his streak.
is Jalen Brunson the best Nick?
Like right now, obviously, yes.
I pick one. Mel or Jalen Brunson, who you going with? I had to. I had to.
The recency bias makes me want to say Jalen Brunson just because I've suffered so long without, any bright light on that damn team.
Yeah.
I can't answer that yet. I think I have to wait out Jalen Brunson's career. Because if Brunson just like left next year or something, then I would still say Melo, you know. But if
yeah,
Brunson sticks around for a few more years and keeps making runs like this, you have to give it to Brunson.
yeah. I
You
mean,
have to.
he's got his boys Dante and Josh Hart right there with him.
Yep.
All they need is McCall Bridges, and that'll be
Oh
Villanova.
my God. Yeah, that'd be
Um,
beautiful. That would be beautiful.
you got any more comments about this series, man? It's been one of the
I
best
also wanted
ones,
to bring up fucking Obi Toppin. How about that?
dude. Yeah,
Knicks trade
revenge
him for two
series.
second-round picks, and he comes
Yikes.
back and he's looking like fucking Paul George against them. That's great.
Yeah, that's not great. But I mean, Obi Toppin, 18 minutes, 21 points
Wow. He's
in
been
game
stepping it up,
4.
man.
He's a huge piece to this Pacers team,
Really is.
especially
I think his
uh
contract's coming up too, isn't it?
yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so. And when Pascal's hitting shots, Miles Turner's hot. Obi Toppin, add that in the mix with Tyrese Halliburton. It's
Yeah, it's
scary
a scary
scenes in
team.
Indiana.
It is. It really is a scary team. And I've been saying it from the get-go. I knew this team with the depth, and this is without Matherin too. I keep
Yeah,
complaining about the Knicks injuries and everything, but we're not bringing up Benedict Matherin, who's also a huge piece for that franchise.
yeah, absolutely. But this series has been electric. We're going to go on to the one that hasn't been my cup of tea. Talking about the
Mm.
Cavs versus Celtics. It seems
Yeah.
none of the games are close. And
Yeah.
it's either Jalen Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum go off, or Donovan Mitchell goes off. But the Boston's up 3-1 in this series. The scores look more competitive, but it seems the
No,
Celtics
yeah,
have
it's
this
there's a
in the bag.
clear, yeah, yeah, definitely. I think this says a lot more about the Celtics aren't showing us anything we haven't seen yet. It's more so the Cavs are just proving to us how freaking inconsistent they are. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Karis LeVert, Garland, they'll go on the coldest streaks, and then they'll have like 2 or 3 minutes where they look like all stars. So
Yeah. I mean,
you have
game
that.
game 2, Karis LeVert had 21. off the bench. When was
Yeah,
the last time that happened, right?
exactly. And then obviously when you got Spida, I mean Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen, I mean arguably your two best players out, you're not going to beat the best team in the league. But they did give them. I mean, I wouldn't say they gave them hell, but they kept it kind of close towards the end without Donovan Mitchell and
Yeah.
Jared Allen last game. Surprisingly,
Yeah, I
like
mean,
it took a dagger three from Jaylen Brown to actually kill him in like the
yeah.
final seconds or
Yeah, I
final minute.
mean, the what like you said, these guys can go off at any minute. Karis LeVert and Darius Garland. I mean, if he just gets his consistency down, he's one of the best guards in the league, in my
Oh
personal
yeah,
opinion. Um, but
I agree.
yeah,
Yeah,
this team is definitely interesting. Evan Mobley is another solid. I
he is
Something just
great
doesn't
piece.
make sense of why this Cavs team is not better than
Doesn't
they
work.
are.
I know.
Because they
I
have
know.
the superstar, they have the role players that can give you 20 a night, and
They do.
they have the lockdown defenders, and they have two of them in Jericho,
And they have 3-point shooting.
Evan Mobley and
They picked up Struce as
Jared Allen.
well.
Yeah,
And they
I
picked up Morris because they were playing like some pussies against the Knicks last year. And
yeah,
even
that's
that,
right.
they still struggled against like a team full of rookies with the fucking Magic. So
Yeah, it's
that team
definitely confusing.
needs to be dismantled in my opinion. Um, I say you build around Mobley, I guess. Try to trade Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, all
Yeah,
those other guys. Get as much as you can for them now while you can, because they're not going to continue to play together. I mean,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
never going to work. Never going to work.
I will say they're running into the buzz saw that is Boston. They've been incredible all
That is
year.
true.
Um,
Yeah,
it
that we might be saying. I mean, we might not be saying the same if they were playing, the Pacers or
exactly.
Yeah, that is
But
true.
like they had the best regular season record, the Boston Celtics, right?
Yeah,
It might just be me, but this team isn't like we've seen super teams. We've seen amazing teams in the past 10 years. We've seen Miami with
I
LeBron, D
think
Wade,
the playing field is just a lot more even this year than we've seen other years.
right? Like I
That's
think
what I think, and I
they're
love it.
not just blowing out teams. I think this is one of my favorite NBA playoffs in a
Yeah,
long time. I think
yeah,
there's
same.
no real number one team in this left. I think there's tiers, but I would not be surprised if any of these teams go on and win it. I would be a little shocked if the Pacers went on or the Cavs, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Nah,
But
yeah.
any other team, I'm like, yeah, makes
I mean,
sense.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, Timberwolves, Nuggets, Knicks. Like you said, the Pacers would be a little more surprising than the rest, but I still think it's within the realm of possibilities.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
don't think it'd be that crazy, but yeah,
You
yeah,
got any
it's
more
been awesome.
thoughts on this one, man?
Which one? Cavs, Celtics? Nah, to be
Yeah.
honest, there's
You think it's a
not much.
wrap after game next game? You think Boston takes game 5, calling it a gentleman sweep?
Uh, when is this game?
That's a great. I want to say it's on Wednesday. Yeah, it's on Wednesday, 6 p.m.
Yeah, I think
In
that'll be a
Boston. It's wraps. I'm
yeah.
afraid
It's
it's
wraps.
wraps.
It is wraps. Yeah.
But yeah, not the best series, but surprisingly, the Cavs are keeping it competitive game by game, but
Yeah,
not getting.
given what they got.
Yeah,
Given what they
absolutely.
got, you gotta give them some props.
Yeah.
Not
Moving over to the West, we're
yeah.
going to talk about this Nuggets T Wolves. Everyone thought T Wolves in 4 the way
Yeah.
and this team was playing not so fast when you have the best basketball player in the entire world, Nikola Jokic. Game 3, they stepped it up big time. Michael Porter Jr. had 21. Jokic had 24, 9, and 14. Jamal Murray got back to his usual self, 24 points. Nuggets shot 53.8% from the field and
Wow.
48.3%.
How many free throws did the Nuggets shoot that game?
That's a great question. I don't have that up with me right now. Let me get it
Oh,
for
good.
you.
Yeah, because
But
that's something I noticed in the earlier games. The T Wolves were just punching them in the mouth, figuratively and literally. I
yeah,
mean, they were hacking at them, and the
they
refs were
shot
letting them
they
play.
shot 20 free throws and they made 17 of them. So not like a complete ref show,
No,
especially when the T Wolves actually shot more.
yeah, that's about your average game.
Yeah, but let's talk about Ant Edwards in this game, man. We've talked about how amazing he's been all series, all playoffs. He's been kind of the face of this playoffs.
Yeah,
He went 8 for 15, 3 for 8, from 3 point, only 19 points. We're expecting him to have 30, 40 bombs every night. And that just opened the door open, left the door open for this incredible Nuggets team to
yeah.
hop right back into the series.
So I watched both game one and game two, but game three and four I was at work, so I missed. I wasn't able to watch those. But what I gathered from the first two games obviously was just the intensity, and I don't think the Nuggets were ready to play a team uh, that aggressive on defense, and they
Yeah.
just weren't getting expected to get punched in the mouth like that at home.
Yeah.
Two games in a row, really.
Yeah. You don't see that. Let's
And
put
then
it
they
how
and
it
then they
is.
go on and win two road games, right?
Yeah. It makes
Yeah.
no sense.
When do you
The
see
home
that?
team hasn't won this series,
Yeah.
which
With
is
that,
insane.
I can't remember the last time that's
I
happened.
mean, you mentioned about them getting popped in the mouth coming out on this series.
Yeah.
You don't see defenses like the T Wolves play in today's day and age. And I love it. I love this
Love it.
Timberwolves team. But game four, the Nuggets took care of business 115-107. Nikola Jokic looked as good as ever 35 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. Jamal Murray, 8 for 17, 19 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. So that you
And
expect
that was
that.
another factor. Yeah, Jamal Murray in those first two games wasn't really there all the way, you know. I
Yeah,
don't know if he was banged up but he wasn't. I think he had like 0 points in the first half of either
yeah.
game one or
It was
game two.
crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
He had struggled. But the biggest piece to this game was Aaron Gordon.
Oh,
27
one
points,
thousand percent.
11 for 12 from field goal,
He
7
had a
rebounds,
2K
6
stat
assists.
line.
Dude, absolutely crazy. You don't,
Just about a
everyone
perfect game.
knows Aaron Gordon as the guy who got robbed from the dunk
The
contest.
dunk contest, yeah.
That is
Which
it.
almost makes him underrated because no one really gives him flowers
Yeah,
where
exactly.
they're due. Like he's a great NBA player, not just a dunking specialist.
Yeah, and what I love about this guy is after this game they asked like where did this come from because we're not used to seeing this, and he's like Nikola. I mean, he can get 50 points a night. And I firmly believe that.
Yep.
But he knows he can't do it all himself. He gives it up, is a team player. And I think that's why this Nuggets team is so great. Everybody
Exactly.
plays off of everybody, and anybody on that team can go for 30 in one
It
night.
reminds me kind of that dominant UConn team we saw in March Madness this year.
Honestly, man.
How there are just no selfish players ever. No selfish plays. I mean, everyone's just picking their shots, right spots, and yeah, they work really well off each other.
Yeah. And that's what makes this Nuggets team so fun to watch, especially with Nikola Jokic driving. But on the other side of things, you can't waste a Anthony Edwards 44 piece. That's just not acceptable. If one dude is giving you 44, I mean, Cat had 13 points. I thought you were one of the best shooters, big men of all time. Where
That's just
were
so
you in this game?
soft.
Where
It's like
were
when
you?
it matters most, Cat doesn't show up ever, man.
No, no, not at all. But this game, this series has been wild. We mentioned the fact that the series home team hasn't won a single game this series.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just absolutely crazy. But you have any more thoughts on this series, man?
Um, I, I'd like to see where it goes tonight, honestly. I think tonight is gonna kind of be, I mean, obviously the game 5. We'll see where this series really headed. I think whoever wins this game tonight is taking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the T-Wolves are slight underdogs here. And I'm kind of leaning Timberwolves after 2 straight losses. I think they go back into Denver and that the road dogs continue to win in this series.
That'd be
That's what I think will happen.
crazy. That'd be
Yeah,
crazy. But
that
moving
would be
on
crazy.
to the second series, last episode, we were actually in the middle of the Mavs versus Thunder game 1.
Hmm.
So the Thunder actually won that one 117. Rest versus Rust. It seemed the Thunder woke up, had a slow start, but kind of took over. Um, they're playing well, and then game two, PJ Washington and Tim Hardaway
Wow.
decided to
Yeah.
step up huge, especially when Kyrie did not play well. He only had 9 points that game, 2 for 8
I
from
was
shooting.
also watching, like, I'm pretty sure I was watching Derek like
Derek
Lively and
Lively.
hitting threes and fucking what's his name hitting three no, Derek Jones Jr. was hitting threes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when the Mavs are hitting threes like that, because you're always going to draw the double team with Luka or Kyrie. There's always going to be an open shooter. If they're hitting threes like that, they're going to go really
Yeah.
far.
And when the Thunder shoot 1 for 12 in a stretch late in the
Yeah,
game,
that can't happen.
it's hard to compete. But
Yeah, it was something really interesting about this series. Was well, the first game seemed kind of a kind of fluky. I don't know. It didn't seem like the Thunder really beat the Mavs by that much.
yeah,
And then game 2, the Mavs just fully controlled. And what I wanted to bring up for the Mavs this series was just the defense that Luka and Kyrie have been playing. I mean, I've never seen them play defense like this
no,
before,
no,
ever.
yeah,
Especially in game 2, and then game 3, the Thunder in control all game. I swear they were up like all game up until the
yeah,
final minutes, lose the game, and then game 4, the Mavs were in control all game up until the final minutes, and the Thunder find a way to steal that one.
yeah.
So
It's
it's
been
very even series.
This is probably my favorite series. I know that's a little biased because I am a Thunder fan,
Mm-hmm.
but the battle between Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Kyrie, and then you have this budding superstar in Jalen Williams on
Oh,
the
he's
Thunder
great.
coming
He
out
is
of
great.
nowhere.
He's turned into
Going
one of
up,
my favorite players.
dude,
He really
he's
is.
one of my favorite players. He's so fun to watch.
Both sides of the ball. I mean,
Both sides, you gotta love it, and he's him. Lou Dort and Kaysen Wallace have played great defense on Luka.
Lou Dort needs to get that damn shot falling though.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Dude, just give me 10 to 15. That's all I
Right?
ask. You don't have
Right?
to even go to 20. 10 to 15.
It would make him such a better, because obviously his defense is already there. That's what he's known for. He's a specialist. But oh my God, just hit some, just hit 1 or 2 threes, man. Hit something.
If Giddey could hit threes.
Oh my God,
I mean,
yeah, I know. Giddey's one of the most frustrating players for me to watch, because it'll be I don't know, I'll be betting against him and he'll have like 30 points, have the game of his life. I'll bet on Josh Giddey and he'll have fucking 1 point, and it's like that's another player that's I don't understand. I don't understand when he's going to be used, when he's going to get volume, when he's going to have a good game. You just don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely confusing. This series has
still young though. It's still a very young team that obviously plays into it.
Yeah,
into all the inconsistencies.
I've kind of mentioned this throughout the NBA season as a whole, and when they got the 1 seed, I was like, okay, like skill talent, they are one of the best.
Yeah. They are.
But the fact they're doing this when their average age is what? 22, 23, like a college team in this day and age.
And then you compare it to
insane.
The Pistons rebuild.
Yeah. Getting fifth.
They just got voted again.
Lottery. Dude,
they got the 5th pick again, right?
Bro, yep. I have a theory. This is all because of the Malice at the Palace. This is the NBA's karma from Malice in the Past. Is
It's got to be, bro. It's some kind of curse or something. Or they're
like
just breaking them. They're just screwing them over.
yeah, it's just Pistons. We can make a whole episode of that, but yeah, man. I think personally, the Mavs and Thunder have been one of the best series. I think the Knicks and Pacers have been the second best. I
Now,
don't
would you
think
say, do you think that this Pacers Knicks series is better than that Sixers Knicks series was?
you know. I think
Just
I think the 76ers, because the hatred of just the two cities
exactly.
alone,
And it felt
really
closer,
added that.
even though this series is closer right now. It felt like that series was closer. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess it was just because every game was, I don't know, one team would win by 2 or 3 points, another team win by two or
yeah,
three points, you know.
and there was just so much controversy around that series, and
Oh yeah,
I think, dude, that series was so fun to watch. I mean,
it was great.
I know you didn't
Embiid
like
with
this,
Bell's palsy. I mean,
but Tyrese Maxey, man, that dude's a freaking dog. Him and Brunson going
he
at
looked
it
like the best player on the Sixers for sure.
100%. But let's I need your predictions, man. Who you got coming out of the East and the West? Who you got winning it all? Where you're leaning?
Um, so I think I got to go with Mavs and Timberwolves, and I'm gonna be biased here and say my Knicks and the Celtics are gonna meet up. Sadly, I think the Knicks will be too banged up by the time they get to the Celtics. If they reach the Celtics, Celtics will probably have a pretty easy 3-1 type of series, 4-1, 4-2 type of series there. And then Mavs T Wolves would be. I would have T Wolves. I think I would have T Wolves Celtics meeting just off
Dang,
the top of my head right now.
I love it. I love it, man. Who you got winning it all?
Um, and then I would take the T Wolves. I would take the T Wolves and Anthony Edwards to lift that trophy,
Dude,
beat the Celtics.
that would be one of the craziest because no one was
It
talking
would be.
about them
No.
going into this playoffs.
But
And
you see it too. Like I feel like if they need a little bit of help too, they're gonna get it because the league loves Ant. Everybody loves Ant. You know, if they need a
yeah,
few calls down the stretch in a game or two, they just might get them. You know,
yeah,
at the end of the day, it's the NBA. We've seen some controversy.
yeah, absolutely. You got anything else on this NBA playoffs, man?
No, I mean I can give y'all one pick, but I guess this isn't streamed live.
Yeah, this
So
comes
it
out
doesn't matter.
Thursday night. So
Yeah,
y'all
exactly.
make sure to tune into Inside Picks. He'll have some good plays for y'all
Yes,
on
sir.
that night. But Alonzo, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah, man, it's been
It's
a
a
pleasure. We
blast.
gotta we gotta do this more often.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. We'll definitely have to have you back on for sure.
Definitely, man. This has been a lot of fun.
I appreciate it, Alonzo. Thanks so much again.
Of course, man. Have a good one. Take it easy.
Once again, thank you so much to Alonzo for coming on this podcast. Absolutely great episode. Again, make sure you follow his account at Insight Picks on X. He gives it all from MLB to NBA to football to soccer, all of it. He has plays for him, so make sure you tune in for that. Excuse me. But to wrap up the episode, we do have a couple questions here. Peyton White wants to know who my top 5 stars under 25 in the NBA are. That's a great question. This postseason has really shown how many young stars we have in this game. Um, so for my honorable mention, the guy that just is right out is Paulo Banchero. He basically carried the Magic in round one, made it a series. Obviously there are weaknesses to his game. I think he can if he develops a outside jumper, he could be one of the best in the league. Um, but right now he's sitting right outside this top five. For number five, I have the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton. And my biggest issue with Tyrese and why I put him at five and not top three, because I think he could be a top three player. He is very inconsistent. He'll go for 35 one night and then he'll have 5 points the next. He needs to be more aggressive with his shot. But with that being said, he is one of the best playmakers in the NBA right now. I don't think anybody can deny that. I think that's why we see the Pacers in the situation they are against the Knicks. Um, so that's where I have him at five. Number four, I have one of the most underrated players in the NBA, in my personal opinion, and that's Tyrese Maxey. He was phenomenal in the Knicks series this year. I think he's one of the budding superstars of this league, and he proved that time after time in that Knicks series. So I got him at four. Number three, the alien himself, Victor Wembanyama. Just after one year, he's solidified as one of the best bigs in the NBA. What he can do on both sides of the floor is absolutely incredible. The reason he's not number one, I'm gonna be honest, is he's only a rookie. So if he keeps up what he did this year and it leads to more team success, it's gonna be scary hours in San Antonio. But I have Victor Wembanyama at three. Number two, I have Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is one of the best players in the NBA, but the lack of consistency lately, especially these past couple games, is very concerning. And his lack of defense, he is an absolute liability on the defensive end. So that's why he's not above number one. And of course, number one, Anthony Edwards, capturing the hearts of America this postseason. He is a absolute dog on both ends of the floor. He's the guy that will get you buckets at any time, any place. His basketball IQ is one of the best. And I just think he's gonna be the guy in the NBA. Once we see guys like Steph, LeBron, KD, and those kind of guys leave the league, I think Anthony Edwards is going to be that dude. So that's my top five right now. Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, Victor Wembanyama, Luka Doncic, and Anthony Edwards. And to be honest, I would have included but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but he is actually older than 25. So that's why he is not on this list. But that he's definitely up there for me. He'd probably be above Luka Doncic, to be honest. And then this next question comes from my mom, Carol Gotzi. She wants to know what my favorite sport was when I was little that I played, not just watched, but played. It's got to be football. That was kind of the first sport that I really dove into. I played a lot. I played flag. I played in my front yard, in my backyard. Whenever friends were over, that was the game we were playing. It wasn't basketball, it wasn't baseball, it was football. And I started playing when I was like in first grade or kindergarten with flag football. Did that for a couple of years. Then I played some tackle in third grade, I want to say. And it was the best. It's football's the best. Everyone knows that though. But yeah, that was by far my favorite sport when I was little. But that's gonna wrap it up for episode 130 of Crunch Time. It was a lot of fun. We did a little bit of headlines talking A lot of baseball, believe it or not. Yeah, me talking baseball. That's crazy. Talked about Lisa Bluder and Caitlin Clark. Their performance at Lisa Bluder's retirement and Caitlin Clark's performances alongside Bronny James at the NBA Draft Combine. We dove into the phenomenal NBA playoffs so far with Alonso. That was fun. Again, make sure to drop his account, follow links in the description. And then, of course, we wrapped it up as we always do with questions. But make sure to follow the podcast on X, Instagram, and TikTok at crunchtime_pod. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel Crunch Time with the N326 duo. But the clock has run out on this one, but we'll see you on the next one on Crunch Time.